Just watch your thoughts, they manifest activities of your thinking. And we thank you for being a part of my life. Them I wonder how we do this, them grow with hate and hunger. With your profit, but as me locks get longer, hidden heart it a twist. No spread no propaganda, cause you can't stop this. Now them I wonder how they get for you so they can grow with hate and hunger. With the profit, but as we locks get longer, hidden heart it a twist. We no make no feel no sponsor, so no can't stop this. Just say no about me, yes, and some.
That was my man Sizzler. They wonder. They are wondering how we do it. They grow with hate and anger as our locks are growing longer. Love that tune. So I want to talk about the neuroscience of goal setting. You know how I do mock cooking books, bringing information. I want to talk about the neuroscience of goal setting. What I mean by that, the neuroscience, in my last video, I talked about the reticular activating system, and I want to continue to compound on that part of the brain. And that is this is what I mean by the neuroscience of goal setting, setting your goals. And the RAS, reticular activating system, plays a key important role. It is vital to your achieving of your goals. I mentioned before, made mention before, I'll reiterate it again. The RAS, it monitors and it filters information from your surroundings and allows some information into your brain, into your subconscious mind specifically, and other information it does not allow in. The information that is allowed in, what determines what information gets in, what information doesn't, is the importance of that information. So for if it's something that, like your dream, right? You have a goal, you have a dream. Whatever the information is that's in your environment that is necessary to your dream, because you already told yourself you have a dream that you want to, you want to achieve. That is your dream, your goal. That belief that you have in your mind, the tools that are necessary for that dream to materialize is how your reticular activating system determines what information is going to be allowed into your subconscious mind and what information is going to be kept out of your subconscious mind. So the interesting thing again is the neuroscience of goal setting is that once you set your goal, you have to leave it up to your RAS. And let me give you an example of how the RAS work. Here's a real life illustration. Let's say you want to get a car, right? And I know a lot of people are going to be able to relate to this. Let's say you say, I want a car. Okay, what kind of a car? I want a BMW. What kind of a BMW? I want an X6. Okay, what color? I want a blue. Okay, the inside, I want a peanut butter interior. Okay, so now you're getting into the specifics of the kind of car you want, right? And even if you don't go into all the details, but you have some particulars, then when you go outside, you say you want to get this car in the next 2 or 3 months. For the next 2 or 3 months, I think you guys know where I'm going, right? All you're going to start to see is this, what? The car. You're going to see the exact car that you want. All of a sudden, you start noticing them everywhere in the street. Now, the question that you got to ask yourself is, were these cars not there before? Ah, that's the question, right? No, they wasn't there. They weren't there. No, they were. Those cars have always been there. This is how the RAS works, folks. Once you enter the goal in your mind, the RAS says to itself, okay, I need to find everything in his or her environment that is conducive, that is in sync with the goal that he has set. So the goal is to get a BMW X6. The RAS is going to scan your surroundings. It's going to scan everything in your area to find everything in your area that is consistent or that is agreeable with the goal that you have set. And this is how your RAS works. So now you're going to start noticing these cars everywhere you look. You're going to see BMWs everywhere. You're going to say to yourself, wow, how come all of a sudden I'm seeing so many BMWs? And I'm sure we all know what we're talking about, right? If your woman is pregnant, right, gentlemen, if your woman is pregnant, when you go out, all of a sudden you're going to see a whole bunch of pregnant women. Were they not there before? No, they were always there. The RAS works in a very particular way. It ignores information that is not necessary to your goal It ignores, it blocks out, it prevents you from seeing information that is not necessary to your goal. But the minute you set an intent, the minute you make your intentions known to yourself, to your sub, to your consciousness, immediately the RAS now says, okay, it's time for me to kick into gear and find everything in the environment. In a crowded room of noise, your RAS will hear a particular piece of information that is necessary to your goal. I'll say this again. In a room crowded with noise, your RAS will hear the information that is necessary to your goal. Your RAS will find the person, the place, or the thing in your environment that is necessary to take you to the next level in your goal. This is the neuroscience of goal setting, folks. All you have to do is make your goals clear, make them very transparent, and leave the rest to your RAS. This is part of our evolution. It is a part of the primitive brain, however. It's not in terms of the neocortex. It's not, you know, it's part of the reptilian brain. It's part of the brain stem. And I mentioned this before, and it is a part of our evolution as a species on how, in terms of our survival, because the RAS, again, it helps us to focus, to concentrate, and to achieve our goals. And this is the neuroscience that, you know, people always say to write the goals down, make them clear, et cetera, et cetera. And that is factual. You should definitely do that. But you should understand how your the reticular activating system of your brain works, because having this knowledge, it will de-stress you. It will remove some of the anxiety. It will allow you to enjoy the journey. It will allow you to trust in the process. More so than anything, the most important lesson from having the information, the knowledge of how your reticular activating system works, is that it will allow you to trust in your process, and you won't be as stressed when you don't achieve your goals on time or things aren't going exactly the way you want. Because, you know, you set the goal as one thing, but the journey is going to be ups, downs. Sometimes you got to make a U-turn, a pit stop. Sometimes there's a pothole, traffic. There's going to be a lot of things along the way. But understanding how the RAS functions, understanding the functionality of your RAS, reticular activating system, understanding the functionality of the RAS, it's going to allow you to worry less, because you understand that there is something else working to make sure all the necessary parts, all the necessary pieces to the puzzle, the moving parts come together, that's going to make your dream manifest. There is something else at play, something else at work. So when you are limited in your physical limitations, you still can trust in the reticular activating system, because here's the thing. I mentioned in the previous video, it serves as a mediator between your consciousness and your subconsciousness, and it mediates between both sub and consciousness. And you have to understand your consciousness is what you are aware of, what you see, what you recognize, what is conspicuous, what is obvious. Your sub is what is inconspicuous, what you don't see, what you are not aware. It's below your awareness. But here's what's interesting. You have to learn visualization. Visualization is it's a method, and it's a very interesting technique. It's a way of creating a mental picture in your mind of not what your goal is, but what you will look like after you achieve your goal. I'll say that again. Visualization is the method and or technique of creating a mental imagery or a mental picture of what you are going to look like after the goal has been achieved, what you're going to look like, what you're going to feel like, what's going to be around you, the clothes that you're going to be wearing, who's going to be with you. You want to visualize all the minutiae, all the particulars and details of what you are going to feel like, look like, be like, the attitude, your mood after your goal is finished. And here's why this is important for the RAS. Your subconscious mind does not know how to distinguish between what is real and what is unreal, what is real and what is not real, what is fake and what is real. It does not know how to distinguish. Your sub, I'll say it again, your conscious mind does. Your sub doesn't. So when you practice mental visualization of what you're going to feel like, look like, and be like at the end of achieving your goal, the RAS, and again, your goal will stick with the car. Your goal is to get this vehicle. I know we're kind of like lowballing our goals there. I hope your goals are higher than a freaking car. You know, let's talk about multiple homes and real estate and so on and so forth. But we'll stick with the car for simplicity purposes. Just make sure your goals are higher than the car. But so let's say your goal is the car. We'll stick with that. And you're visualizing yourself driving in this car, what it's going to feel like, who's going to be with you, what kind of music you're going to be listening to. You're activating the sense of smell, because here's why it's important to do this. The RAS, wired to your RAS is all 5 of your senses. I'll say it again. Wired to the RAS is all 5 of your senses, meaning all 5 of your senses, the RAS serves as a bus depot, a place, a junction where all of these senses actually combine, collide, and come together and from there, those senses are dispersed or disseminated throughout the subconscious mind by means of the reticular activating system. So it's so vitally important that you have this, you see yourself, how it's going to be when you achieve the goal of getting your car, how you're going to feel, how you're going to, what you're going to be wearing. You want to kind of visualize yourself, create that mental image. In so doing, that mental image is going to be processed by your RAS, impressed upon your sub, and your subconscious mind, as I made mention before, has no way of distinguishing whether it is really happening or it is imagination. It is just a figment. It is false. It is a facade. The sub doesn't know how to distinguish the two. So when you are mentally capturing this picture and imagining this, and your RAS is saying, give me this information, it is necessary to the goal, therefore that information is allowed to pass through to the sub doesn't know that it's not real. To the sub, it is as real can be. And so now that the sub has this information and doesn't know that it's not real, perceives it to be real, what the sub is going to do now is manufacture, is going to create and engineer that as your reality. That's the magic, folks, of, when you read the Bible and it says, speak things into existence. When you read in Genesis and it says how God spoke the world into existence, that the Word, in the beginning was the Word and the Word was God and the Word was with God, how the Word, manufactured all that we see in the universe, right? How you speak things into existence. Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door. When you study these biblical principles, when you're studying these biblical principles and you start to understand the neuroscience of how things manifest, of how the neuroscience of goal setting, when you have a real good grasp on this, that's when it really, everything starts to make sense to you. You start to get that overstanding. You get that overstanding. You get that knowledge. So it's like I said, it's very important that we understand the neuroscience of goal setting, how the parts of the brain, of our brain actually works for us. If we can just learn how they work, learn the science behind it and the methodology and the techniques, if we can just take the time to study ourselves, we are truly, truly amazing creatures, and we can truly do amazing things. This is why, if you really believe in your dream, if you really believe in your goal, it has to manifest. Like I said before, it's an unfailing and unwavering law. It's an infallible law. It's beyond reproach. It's beyond fallibility. It must manifest itself. But very few of us have taken the time to really study ourselves, master ourselves, and put into action and implement the magic that lies within us. Because it goes both ways. A coin has heads and tails. So there's also the dark side of this information, that this information works against you if it is being negatively fed. If your RAS is being fed negative information on a constant basis, and if you hold, here's the thing, like I said in my previous video, your belief, the beliefs that you hold will determine the kind of information the Raz allows to come in. So if there's fear and self-loathing, if there's self-doubt, if there's a lot of negative self-talk, that becomes your belief system. So your Raz is going to allow the information that is negative. It's going to seek out all the negative information in your surrounding and let that come in, and then your sub is now going to manifest that. Now, I didn't want to go too much into this, but I want to say this real quick. Genetics, right? The ribosome in a cell is considered the workstation, right? That's where all the amino acids are manufactured. Amino acids are strings of proteins, right? And the ribosome is interesting because the ribosome gets the instructions from the gene. Each gene has instructions that is going to tell the ribosome, or it's the blueprint. It's the blueprint of how a protein is supposed to be manufactured or produced by the ribosome. The ribosome does not distinguish anything other than just produce what it is given. So the ribosome is given genetic instructions from each gene, and what it does, it produces a protein that is in line with the instructions from the gene. Why I brought that up is because this is genetics. I found a similarity and a parallelism, so to speak, there, because your subconscious mind works like the ribosome. The ribosome simply produces what it is given. It produces, and the end result of what the ribosome produces are you and I, right? Zygote, ova, the sperm cell. It's the end result are you and I, right? But what I found was interesting is that just like the ribosome doesn't distinguish what gene instruction is given, it simply takes that instruction and reproduces it in the form of a protein. Your subconscious mind works the same way. It doesn't distinguish whether it is real or false, the information that is given, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. It doesn't stop. There's no prejudice, no bias, no partiality. It simply takes that information, the sub this is, and reproduces that information into your life, into your reality. And by this method, by this science, this is why we create our reality. If we can get that, like let that be absorbed and sink deep into our subconscious mind, deep into our spirit, our soul, then we'll be able to manifest more, or we'll be able to gauge, guide, and control the things that show up at our doorstep, so to speak. Till next time, y'all know what I'm going to be doing, cooking books, bringing information. Mark here. I'm out.
Yeah. I'll never go in wrong congregation. Boy. Rastaman about pagans. I'll never go where the pagans go. Never do what the heathens do. Cause Rastafari by the guidance. I'll never say what the daddy can say. For Emperor